The presentation of today's racing program is a copyrighted broadcast of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, recreation, or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please stand for our national anthem. And they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to beautiful Belmont Park on this Jockey Club Gold Cup Day. Sunny skies, the temperature will get into the 70s. Main track is fast, the turf courses are firm, and the portable rails are set up at 9 feet on both the widener and the inner. The Empire 6 has a mandatory payout today. And coming into today, it has a jackpot carryover of $426,806. Right now, we'll take a look at the changes for the 11 race card. In the first race, scratch number 9, Deboard. Scratch number 9. Second race, scratch the 2, Gotta Go Mo, and 13, Doll. In the second, scratch numbers 2 and 13. Third race, scratch number 5, Chick. Be Quick. Scratch number 5. There are 5 graded stakes on the card today. The first is the Grade 1 Champagne, race number 4. There are no changes, but please note there'll be no show wagering on race 4. Race 5, the Grade 1 Frisette. No changes. In today's 6th race, there are no changes, and race 6 will begin the Empire 6. In today's 7th race, scratch the also eligibles, 13, Simovich, 14, Sifting Sands, and 15, Rock Sugar. Scratch 13, 14, and 15. And note that number 2, Hard Love, is a Ridgeling. The 8th race is the Grade 1 Flower Bowl. No changes. The 9th race, the Grade 1, 102nd running of the Jockey Club Gold Cup. There are no changes, and there will be no show wagering on race 9. Today's 10th race is the Grade 2 Sands Point Stakes. Athena Dancer. In the 11th, scratch 1A and 13. We're fast and firm. A mandatory payout in today's Empire 6. The jackpot carryover stands at more than $426,000. We'll come back at 11:50 to recap the changes. Today's first race post is at 12:20. Up next, the Jockey Club Gold Cup edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. He is the Big A, Anthony Stabile. I'm Andy Serling. Big day today, 11 race card. Before we get underway with the usual Did want to start with some somber news. A great friend of racing and a friend of people in racing, a great friend of many people in racing, Paul Pompa, the owner of Big Brown and many, many other horses, passed away. Condolences to his family and his many, many friends. Every person that got to know Paul Pompa is a better person for having known Paul Pompa.
Yeah, 62 years old. Andy mentioned Big Brown. Started in the game with a Rene Araya and Joe Aquilino, who both also, unfortunately, have left us. So, but yeah, you know, recent years, Todd Pletcher, Chad Brown, Pat Reynolds, of course. Big Brown started with him. So, yeah, Paul was a very a good guy, you know, knock-around guy at the racetrack, and most importantly, a very generous guy with everybody, and he'll be missed.
Yes, he will be missed. Everybody's life gets a little bit worse when people pass away, especially people like Paul Pompa. Head on over to Naira Bets, and that knows we hate to start in those kind of news, but it is a big piece of news around here. Naira Bets, if you're not a member of Naira Bets, no better time than the present to sign up. You support racing in New York. Paul Pompa supported racing in New York, that's for sure. You keep the money in racing by playing through Naira Bets. Use Match 200. We will match up to $200 of your initial deposit. We offer a number of things today. What do we got, guys? There we go. Win bet bonus at a $25 or higher win bet on any horse in the Champaign or Frazette today and earn a $20 bonus through Naira Bets. You must play this through the app and the app only. Also want to, let's see what Cross Country Big Five begins at 3:53. We've got race 8, the Monmouth Stakes at Monmouth, the Flower Bowl here at Belmont, the Fayette at Keeneland, the Sands Point here on the turf, and the QE2, a grade 1, closing it out. Feels to me like a battle between my favorite horse, Harvey's Little Goyle, and Magic Attitude. I think anybody else feels like an upsetter in that race. Carryover. Want to remind people, do we have that slate for the pick 6 carryover? Please.
Empire 6 goes today. It all must go today.
Yes, 400 and change as soon as we get that number up there. That will start in race number 6, $426,806, races 6 through 11. Talk about those in the show. Thank you very much. Has to go. We're paying it out all today. Race number 1, Anthony. Race number 1, I like the 5. Courageous Girl in here. I think she's just been facing better horses than these. I kind of like the cut back to 1 turn. The last time she ran the 1-turn mile, she finished behind Ice Princess, who ran well that day at Aqueduct. 7 Frogs in the Bowery. I don't think she ran that badly. I thought she may have found the right field. Nothing particularly clever. I liked her. I think a horse that'll take a lot of money is this horse, Let Me Have It. I wanted to show you the last race at Saratoga for Let Me Have It, and a little bit of a trainer stat as well. This horse was claimed by Rudy after this race. I think I have a stat for this horse. I'm not sure. Yeah, I put it up. This was the day to have Let Me Have It.
Yep.
I respect Rudy a lot off the claim, especially with routers, but he has an interesting stat with horses that are coming off wins in dirt routes I was going to show you. And while I think that she can definitely win here, I wanted to go with the Courageous Girl. I just think is better.
I had a tough time with this race, and I always feel good. Well, that's not a great... That's great. Not a great number, is
stat because Rudy's numbers are so exceptional off the claim, especially with routers. In routes, he's 44 for 116, $2.58 in ROI. So he's 37. He's 37 for 85 with horses that aren't off of wins. I don't know if it's voodoo. I don't know if it's random, but I did think it was worth putting up. Still think this horse can win. What is it about Frenzy Freedom that you like?
I had a very, like I said, tough time with this race. Wanted to take a couple of horses with some prices. This horse was 3rd off of a 7-month layoff. She was previously trained by Jason Service. I thought the 2 sprint races in Saratoga were okay. She's going to stretch out to the mile now. Her 1-mile effort was in the Maiden and Mist last year, so I'm willing to forgive that. Just try her for Kelly Breen and Lascano at a price. And horses taking the early money, and very early money. Number 1, Elorella comes in. She caught a sloppy track at Laurel first time out, then went the 2-turn mile at Parks and just romped on the front end against Open Company in her first 2 starts.
That was a hideous field.
Listen, I'm not, you know, she comes in here. She has some speed from the inside.
Well, inside speed's been good, and I imagine that's why she's taking foolish early money in this race, and maybe that'll help her. The track mitigated a little bit yesterday, but it still was pretty good inside, not perhaps as strong as Thursday. Frenzy Freedom was steadied in that race and made it the missed top of the stretch, and it's funny they added the chart because it wasn't originally in the chart. The problem that I have is this horse didn't finish, and I don't think this horse runs like a horse that will appreciate more distance, and she just hasn't taken a step forward. I hear you with her. I've got her fourth. I'm a little concerned that she's just not. I mean, the other thing is, she was bad last time. You have to admit, she was bad. That race fell apart.
I crossed out the 2 First Dawn on the 8, Cheatham Hill. I think any of the other 6 will win the race.
All right, I thought it was pretty much 5, 6, and maybe a little bit of 7. We'll see what happens in race number 1. The second race, obviously, Robin Sparkles is way the horse to beat. We'll take a look at her winning last time. I do wonder a little bit. You know, she comes back 2 weeks after she wins the turf off the turf race. Then she's off a month, but now she's coming back in just 13 days. And Bruce Brown did have a good second yesterday with a horse that probably ran the best race. According, if you look at Trackus, actually did run the best race of anybody. His numbers off of wins are not good. I didn't put him up, but he's like 4 for 102 off of wins, and he's 1 for 35 off of wins on the turf. And it makes me wonder a little bit. And the other thing is, she's fast. But there's a lot of fast horses in this race.
Well, I'm so confident with this that I'm going to actually give you the bait. Here's the thing with Robin Sparkles. How about that?
Oh, she's way the horse to beat.
That gives me even more confidence is the dirt race 2 weeks after the turf race last time. She is obviously a turf horse. She ran against a wind machine in Malibu Mischief.
That was a track that was very
It was a track
speed.
that helped her. I'm not saying it wasn't, but she's also running in a starter allowance against some fillies that had accumulated a lot of wins in their careers, and now she's dropping wins.
Oh, you mean that race?
Yeah, in that race, and now you're running in a straight
I still think she's carrying a very heavy load and running very frequently. She's way the horse to beat.
Okay.
She's going to be a significant favorite. I want to take a small chance against her with a 7 Summer at the Spa. Not great turnback stats for Jonathan Thomas. You know I don't really love these. This horse did win, though, the first time sprinting, and didn't even run that badly in doing so. And I do think this horse has been a bit compromised by trips and the racetrack. And I think last time out, September 4th, there was a ton of give in the ground at that point, and I just don't think this horse handled it at all. I thought it actually ran well 2 races back, went a bit against the track, wide in the first turn, cut over in the second turn on opening day at Saratoga. But I like Summer to Spa as the other horse. I'm just going to take the other alternative.
Isn't it amazing sometimes? I know we got to move on. She turf sprints with blinkers on in her debut. She wins and pays $50. Her next 3 starts are routes without blinkers.
Yeah, different trainer. Race number 3 as we move along. We'll take a look at some of the ones that ran, and I guess Zacapa and Translator, the 2 that people will be looking at here. I feel as though of the 2, Zacapa ran the better race. I thought this wasn't Jose's fault, but as he tried to save ground between horse and the turn, he ended up getting himself jammed up, and I think it really hurt his chances.
Yeah, I'm with you. I believe Zacapa ran a bit better than Translate this day. You know, when you have, and this is something that I've learned sitting with you, and it's really resonated, you got 5 fillies here hitting the line, length and a half apart. Right. I've learned to try to stay away from those races if I can. Those horses get bet, and number one, only one of them can win. And number 2, more often than not, they don't come right back and win. So,
yeah, I didn't love the field they're coming out of. I thought it was a fairly weak field. I had Zacapa in there. You're taking a homebred for Christophe Clement on the rail.
Yeah, Christophe, Joel Rosario teaming up. First time Lasix for the debut. This horse doesn't debut until October of her 3-year-old year. She's a half to a couple of horses who both won early. They both won as 2-year-olds. In fact, they were stakes winners as 2-year-olds.
Including stays in Vegas.
Yeah, including stays in Vegas. So now you see her not debuting until very late in her 3-year-old year, but I think you still have to use that information that the horses were win early, even though they were 2-year-olds. Barnes at the Commodo's been going really, really well for the last 4 months. She's going to be a decent enough price. I put her on top.
I took the 10 counterparty risk, was entered and scratched to Saratoga out of the last race one day. This is one of those purchases over at Tattersall's that the Clarvett Stables has done very well with. The horse is supposed to be okay, so I'm going to pick this horse on top. I thought Slip Sliding Away, the 12, was an interesting alternative. Okay. Cutting back a little bit for Jimmy Toner. This horse's races aren't that bad, and I thought this horse would benefit from the turn back and be a little bit of a price, so I'm going to look for a 10-12 here. That was mostly my play. I didn't really have much interest in too many others in this race.
Okay.
See how I had Pinch of Grace in there. The horse did get bet first time for Chad Brown and didn't do much running. And fact, I think the winner was the other horse on the other horse on the pace was the winner. So it's not as though that pace really fell apart, but something must have gone wrong. We haven't seen the horse for 8 months.
Belmont has one for Judmont debuting again late in the 3-year-old year. Newbie in the number 9, who has some fast works. Got this horse on the training turf up at Saratoga over the Oklahoma a couple of times. I don't know. David laid this one at 6-1 on the morning line. I think this horse will probably be a little bit higher.
And was very good in the turf. She won over $1 million, so certainly possible. Stakes portion of the card starts in race number 4, one of 4 grade 1s in the card with the grade 1 Champagne, and we'll show the race that matters the most, and that's the hopeful. Listen, in my heart, I'm rooting for Reinvestment Risk. I hope he does very well, but I can't say enough how much as we go to the replay of the Champagne, we were all impressed with Jackie's Warrior, and Anthony, you've switched them. Why is it going to be different today?
You know, I took one more chance with Reinvestment Risk getting to Jackie's Warrior. Last time Jackie's Warrior had the extra race under his belt going forward into the hopeful, it was Reinvestment Risk's second race. I'm hoping now with a little bit more experience and a little bit more ground. You know, I know this
why
is
more ground? This horse is eased up at the wire. I mean, why is this horse more ground going to be a problem for this horse?
I'm not saying it will be, and there's a very good chance he's just going to go wire to wire on this field as well, like he did last time. I'm going to give Reinvestment Risk one more chance around the 1 turn to beat him. He'll be a little bit of a better price. Pick 4s, pick 5s. I'm using the 4 and the 5.
The only thing I'll say in Reinvestment Risk's corner a little bit is that he never gave up. A lot of times a horse, second-time starter, chasing like that is going to give up. He didn't give up, but I wish that I could make a case for him to beat Jackie's Warrior. I hope he beats Jackie's Warrior, but from a handicapping standpoint, I think Jackie's Warrior is way the horse to beat. And Midnight Bourbon, the other horse for Steve Asmussen, is A-OK. This horse ran fine last time. I thought made the first move in that race, another 1-turn mile race, has experience going longer in all of his starts. Sitting on Go got a very good trip to beat him. I thought he ran as well as that one perhaps in here, and I like this horse. I just feel like he's biting off a lot to run against Jackie's Warrior and Reinvestment Risk, who arguably may be the 2 best, we've seen of the 2-year-olds.
Yeah, I was saying this morning on HRN. You say 2-horse race. It's almost like a 2.5 horse race. This horse,
okay.
Yeah, this horse is okay. He wasn't far from a quick pace last time. As I say, he heated up in the middle of the race. Yep. He made the first move, like you said.
Favorite right of your lifetime, collapsed.
He was the only one that really survived.
He's the one who chased Jackie's Warrior the time before.
Exactly. And Asmussen has made it his business to run this horse at a mile in all 3 starts. That weird 1.5 at Ellis Park, that 1.5 turns.
Is it 1.5 turns now?
It's like, yeah, it's kind of like out of that pea patch shoot.
I think it's a little different.
It's almost like how we start the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
I'm not sure.
Kind of like that.
Anthony,
I covered them all summer.
Anthony, watch a replay of this race. Do you watch them when you're covering?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, because I watched it, and it was just a head-on angle. I didn't feel like I've seen a different one.
It's a turn.
Yeah, okay.
It's a turn.
I thought it looked a little different.
It's
I watched
like
one recently. I meant to ask you
It's
about
a weird start.
See what happens in the Champagne. We move on to the Grade 1 Frisette, race number 5. This is a far more competitive race on paper because you have at least 3 potentially solid horses, starting with the horse on the rail, and that's Vequist. I was very impressed with this effort. I know she didn't beat much, but you look at the race, 5th horse came back to win. She ran a 73 in her debut, a 26 here, and a 63 breaking her maiden the next time out.
She won 2 turns.
The 4th horse ran a 69 in her debut, a 40 in this race, came back with a 68. We've seen another horse, I think, out of the race also ran well. Horses are coming out of this race and running big races, a very legitimate, strong effort. I know there's pace, but if she breaks sharply today, she's going to the front with Luis Saez and playing Come and Catch Me, and I don't think they're going to be able to.
Okay. I thought Joy's Rocket could put enough pressure on her early.
Well, she's not one of the speeds, but okay. We'll see. I didn't have her speed, but okay, maybe you're right.
Yeah, I think Joy's Rocket will be trying to put a little pressure on her. I think Joy's Rocket's the one that's going to try and bottom them out, if I'm being honest. And I wonder what Luis Saez does in that instance, if he lets her be the target.
I don't think she's a speed, so we'll have to agree or disagree on that, but that's fine.
They're the 3, right? The 1, 2, and 5. I mean, I would think.
Well, I would think. I mean, Joy's Rocket has run well in all races, just not as well as these horses. And we'll take a look at Day Out of the Office, the other stakes winner in the Schuylerville. Listen, she was good, and she draws outside of the other speeds. So in that situation, maybe she gets the right trip. She was very impressive, as you can see here in the Schuylerville. I'm not. We'll see if she's as good as the other ones, but.
On opening day, as you'll see in the Schuylerville here, on opening day in the Schuylerville, she ran, this was a lights out effort. don't be alarmed by the break. Timmy Ham planned this, her trainer. Her trainer, Timmy Ham, for those of you not familiar, Timmy does a really good job in the middle of the country.
He trained?
I'm sorry?
He trained?
I don't remember.
Too much bling before Bob Baffert.
Too much bling. All right, there you go. So Timmy does a good job. This was planned. Have a fresh horse for a couple, 3 races in the fall. I mean, what's wrong with either of her two races?
I wouldn't leave her out.
Yeah.
I think she's a big player. If I had to leave out, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not sure what to do with Cantata here. She obviously was visually impressive. And listen, the race got a very solid figure. Beat a couple of Chad Brown horses that have a right to be okay. You know, she was ridden very hard in here, as you can see, before being sort of, you know, let her go. But anybody that thinks that she could have run a lot faster is kidding themselves. She was good. This is a big jump up, and I'll show you a stat for Steve Asmussen. They've done better this year, but in general, these horses breaking their maiden second time out, coming in the stakes, the 2-year-olds, they haven't done as well as their odds would suggest.
The lone reason I put her on top, well, it's not really a lone reason. That's not a great stat. The reason I put her on top is I think she has a few less landmines to navigate than Vequist, who could be compromised on the front end if somebody tries to go with her. Then Day Out of the Office, who, whether it was planned or not, still has to come back off nearly a 3-month break. This filly won 7 weeks ago. She was able to relax off the pace. She made the one run. She opened up through the lane like the mile's not going to be a problem. I felt like she had the least questions to answer. I put her on top.
Well, I don't know if I'd put it that way, Anthony. The other horses have won stakes.
They have,
and she won a maiden race in a small field.
But they have to worry about Vequist and has to worry about some other speed.
I agree with you. From the
break.
dynamic standpoint, she should be able to rate. If the pace gets hot, she can take advantage of it. I just think the other horses have accomplished a little more.
They have.
Obviously, she is a major player in here. I couldn't make a case for any of the others. Plenty of action to come, including the mandatory payout in the Empire 6. Take a quick break to hear from our wonderful sponsors at Saratoga Water. We'll be back in just a moment.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile and Andy Serling coming to you from beautiful Belmont Park. Mandatory payout in the Empire 6, the last 6 races on today's card. 426,000 plus. Be giving that all away.
That's a lot of Scott-Owl, my friend.
Yeah, I wish it didn't end with yet another race full of first-time starters.
Well, it's the yin and the yang. We have 3 maiden races, 2-year-olds, and we have 3 graded stakes races.
The second race is the same race on the same turf course, and that could have been the last race. And that would have been fair because you had a heavy favorite, which people could lean on. If it loses, as opposed to just a lot of guesswork with 10 first-time starters in a field of 12. That's the way it is. But, you know, the smaller players help build these pools up as well. And I like to think the smaller players have an equally, if not better, chance to win than people that are able to drown the pools. But that's the way it goes. Race number 6, there's really not a lot to say. Maybe there are some live firsts. There's a late scratch here, by the way. The 7 Wayburn is out. No, wait. Wrong race. There were some late scratches here. Why don't we show Newbaum's race, and I'll figure out the scratches.
Let's do that. Newbaum was tipped in a race that had a couple of tips. And you'll see Newbaum on the inside here trying to take him flag fall to that's all in the mud up at Saratoga. About to get run by Highly Motivated, who came back to break his maiden, and here comes Founder making that big wide move, drifting all the way to the center of the track. Highly Motivated goes by. Founder picks them both up.
Horse ran big.
Now,
the horse that dueled with him, the Run Happy Asmussen horse, did come back, duel again, get beat at the wire, did equal the Fig, but was involved in a heavy pace duel. The scratch, was the Paul Pompone 5th Risk out of the Versette. I had the wrong race for the number 7. Wayburn is running in here. This horse is good. Now, maybe there's a good first-time star in this race. I have no idea. I think that the 7 Wayburn is supposedly working well, and I guess that's why you picked it up. Why did you pick this horse 3rd?
I like the work patterns on both the 7 Wayburn
there's a big
and the
tip
8
on the
risk
7.
taking.
He's working
I
well.
did not know there was a tip on
He's
the 7.
working very well.
I have a tip on. I had a little bit of a push on the 4 Kid Cash. Rudy source. Nothing overwhelming, I would say. That's the only word I heard in here. When those, Jimmy Jerkins is his father's son. When they work fast.
He's his father. Let me ask you a question.
When
Are there
they
some
work-
other gentlemen out
when
there,
they
or ladies and gentlemen, that are
work-
not their father's sons?
When they work fast like that, they're not
checking.
getting laid on. Jimmy doesn't lay him on a fence.
Cliches.
So he doesn't. Jimmy doesn't lay him on a fence. So when they work fast, they work fast. There's a half to a fast horse that did the bulk of his winning in Canada named Yorkton.
Turf and synthetic.
Yeah, that's what I said, in Canada. But Yorkton's
there was a
fast.
time when
He's
you
running.
can't add
I think he's run 2nd and 3rd down at Gulfstream Park in the winter. I think he has some dirt for him, covering him on the weekend stakes preview. So, I like the workouts on this horse. I'm going to take a little shot with him on top. I'm using him. I'm going to use risk taking.
Is there a tip on risk taking? Because I don't have one.
No, I like I said.
I put Rudy's horse in. I thought Kid Cash's 10 and 5th workout, the sales was pretty good, actually, and thought that horse could be a little interesting for Rudy as well. I am not taking a big stand against New Bomb. Thought he ran very, very well first time out for Todd, so unless he was just cranked up first time, he's not going to run as well second time.
I also worry a little bit about him being a Speightstown in the mud first time out. If that helps,
he was 2
his
to 1.
If that helps,
he was
his
2 to
cause.
1 against 2 Chad Brown horses that could run.
I understand.
So they obviously weren't betting him because they were happy it was muddy out. Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
I'm not saying that. I'm not worried about why they were betting him. Listen, they bet
I
plenty of
heard,
horses
actually, you
that
know what I
don't run
heard?
2 steps.
I actually called him after the race. And he said, "Oh, God, I hated the mud."
Did he really?
Yeah, he said I hated it.
Oh wow,
it was awful.
That's
If it wasn't for
amazing.
The mud, I would
You
have
should
won.
probably call him back and try and get a record deal.
This is the voodoo section of the show. Race number 7.
Yeah, Speightstown in the mud's voodoo. Ooh.
Anthony, the horse was 2 to 1 in a loaded maiden race at Saratoga and ran a big race.
But Anthony, I'm just saying, in hindsight, isn't there a chance that might help them?
No,
It's impossible.
No, it probably more likely it hurt him, to be honest with you. More likely it hurt him than helped him.
He's the first Speightstown
Let me
that was
ask you
ever
a
hurt by
question.
the mud.
Let me ask you a question. When Todd Pletcher was debuting a 2-year-old he really liked, do you think he said, "Oh God, it's raining
I'm
out
not saying that I'm not saying that he did, but I think it's hard to really anoint this horse. This horse is going to be off that race. He should be 7 to 5.
7 to 5 seems like a fair price to me. Todd entered him tomorrow in the futurity while he was in MTO. I think he saw the forecast and thought if the rain was going to come earlier than expected, fortunately it's not, that he might scratch him and run him there. Race number 7. I'd already picked the 5 Big Everest in here, and I got a text this morning from a friend, and it's not somebody even here in New York, and he said, I hear that Christophe Clement has the latest, fastest horse in the world in the 7th. Now, I will say something about this race. For those not familiar...
Wait, the 5 or the 7? Christophe has the fastest horse in the 5.
The 5. He has the 5 and 3. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We have a rule that we instituted this year in NYRA, where if a trainer is entering 2 horses for 2 different owners, and the race is oversubscribed, they have to say which one they prefer.
They do have to anoint the
Now,
horse
in this
they prefer.
case, Bill Mott, Chad Brown, and Christophe Clement fell into that rule. It doesn't come into play that often, and most races aren't oversubscribed.
Well, Bill Mott didn't. The horse's main trick only. The other 2 did.
You are correct. No, he is. He had Simovic, 13. Thank you.
So one of them. So Christophe didn't.
No, Simovic, the 13, and the number 4 are both Bill Mott horses. So obviously he had to...
You said 3. You said Christophe, Mott, and Brown. It's only 2.
It's 3. Let me start again.
All right, go ahead.
Let me start again. 3 different people were affected. Bill Mott entered the 4 Hardison and the 13 Simovic for the turf.
Okay.
Chad Brown entered the 14 Sifting Sands and the 7 Connaugh's Key for the turf.
Okay.
Christophe Clement entered Big Everest and Stand with Mo, the turf. If game oversubscribed by 2 horses, which means one of them got to run 2. Which part are you missing?
Gotcha now. Okay.
Okay. That's fine. That's the rule. That's fine. The problem is the public knows that Bill Mott prefers the 4 over the 13, and Chad Brown prefers the 7 over the 14. The public does not know with certainty if Christophe Clement prefers Stand with Mo or Big Everest. Now, you can look and say, Joel Rosario's riding him. That's all good and fine. But if we're going to have this rule,
definitively,
we
do
need
not
to
know.
say preference 1 and preference 2, because it can't be information that some people have and the bettors don't have. So I think that would be good if we could get that information out. Now, I'm going to assume it's Big Everest. Now there's a big tip on him. He's a Euro. I put him on top.
I didn't have a tip. I
didn't have a tip either, but I guess.
In these races where, Hardison has a race, and the number 4, and the number 1, Cracker Box Palace have a race.
They're okay.
There's 10 first-time starters in here. I picked Chad Brown first and Christoph Clement second. I mean,
well, I think Hardison ran okay in there.
I
mean,
too.
didn't have any speed,
Put him third.
kind of sucked up, did have a good rail trip, but I think could improve second time out. I don't like Crackerbuck Palace, who got a great ride from Manny Franco, and while was a little bit rank and a little bit stayed along, came through on the inside, just absolutely nothing in the stretch whatsoever. I've got kind of key as a half to Tire the Sea, who won again at Keeneland on a turf that seems to be favoring speed. There's plenty of turf there.
You did.
I guess with those two along with Hardison.
You're right. I'm 4, 5, 7 like you. We kind of saw the race the same way, just a little different with the
The
top
8's a
picks.
foal-to horse was a pretty nice turf horse, actually. I know it's a Bodemeister, but another horse in that one. There's also a pretty good dirt horse, but there's turf in there as well. I threw that one in also.
Kimmel's stretching out beyond the mile. I don't think those numbers are good.
He probably knows that. I don't love him. I got him fourth.
Yeah.
Just put him in. He's got a little bit of pedigree to speak of. Race number 8. We get back to the stakes action with another Grade 1, the Flower Bowl. I want to talk about the My Sister Nat, Civil Union, Bo Bell, etc. race. I'm concerned that My Sister Nat is a bit of a plotter. I was very happy that Anthony picked against her because she never wins when Anthony picks her, and she always wins when he picks against her. Your record is so pristine with this horse. That is actually funny.
Voodoo.
I just realized that it's true. You know it's true. Anthony loves this horse. Whenever he picks against her, she seems to win. Anyhow, listen, both Civil Union and My Sister Nat saved ground the whole way. So they both had a good ground-saving trip and angling out, and both got good rides. The difference was that Civil Union, because she has more natural speed, was able to be close to the pace. My Sister Nat had too much to make up in what was one of the crazy slow paces of the year. I'm hoping it's different today. Whether or not she ultimately ends up being good enough, I'm not sure. But I think she's okay, and I think of the Chad Brown horses, it's possible she could be the biggest price of all of them. And I put her on top, but I think it's tough. It's close. No, it's close. I'm not.
I know my radio partner Bobby Newman likes Nay Lady Nay. A couple of my other friends like Nay Lady Nay.
That's what I'm saying.
So, I don't know if I disagree with that.
Well,
she has a lot to live up to. Keep that family name going. Older sister Charlie, younger brother Satsas.
well, she's not as good as them, but she does.
Not
But
yet.
she's improved a lot
She
this
gotta
year.
get that Grade 1 win.
No, she's not going to be as good as them
That's
ever.
true, too.
She's never going to be as good as those horses. But
Don't say that to her, man. She might be listening.
you know what? She's actually talking.
She's Jan Brady?
No, she's
Oh,
talking
she's
to
talking
the Todd
to,
Pletcher horse. She's going, you know that idiot thinks that I ran
She's
well
talking
because it
to
was a
Newcomb.
slop.
Talking a literal talking horse.
So
is
I
double.
prefer her in here.
Okay.
But I'm scared of the other ones. I mean, Nay Lady Nay, we'll take a look at her race 2 back in the Matchmaker. I know she beat a 4-horse field at Laurel, and you can say Chad Brown's done a good job of finding good spots for her. She's an improving horse, and I think she's super dangerous here.
Yeah, she's going to get her a little bit of a distance test today, right?
Yep.
The mile and an eighth a couple of times in her last 2. She handled those mile and an eighth races. I mean, you can, I think you can argue and you can back it up with fact. Those were her 2 best races. So there's not a lot that leads you to believe she couldn't handle some more distance. We'll find out.
You seem reticent.
I'm sorry?
You like her the least.
I don't like the whole, let's run around the Mid-Atlantic and find spots for her to add to the win column.
That's reasonably fair. I don't think that's a
But
terrible.
I'm saying that knowing she could very well step up and go a mile and a quarter. I got a lot of love for my girl Cambia Park.
Let's just step back and say Civil Union.
Okay,
we
go
really
ahead.
talk about. She has improved a lot for sure. My problem is she's had such good trips. Well, we'll talk about her later because now this replay came right up. Why do you like Cambia
so
Park?
this was
Off her second place last time in
This
the
was
Canadian.
some ride the last time out in the Canadian.
Because?
I don't know what was going on. I mean, she's in the teeth of a 46 and change, 9-2 middle fractions. They are going a mile and an eighth on the straightaway. We haven't seen her for 11 months. And this guy decided that we're going to take a horse that's never gone faster than 49 and change and just put her into the teeth of a blazing pace. The fact that she only got beat 4 lengths and stayed on, I think is a testament. It's easy, Sister Charlie, Uni, Newspaper of Record, Rushing Fall. When fillies like that surround you in the very same barn, it's hard to get lost. She's a 2-time Grade 1 winner. And I don't think she's ever gotten the respect she deserves. I think she's going to win today. I like her a lot in here today.
So it's a lack of respect thing. You're giving her that respect.
I like her a lot today. She gets back to Johnny Vasquez. Congratulations to Johnny, 2000th win at Belmont Park. That's something.
Who do you think cares less than him?
I'm just saying, man. It's nice to be acknowledged.
I know. It's
and I think
but Johnny's funny about those things.
Yeah, he hates it. Yeah.
Right.
He didn't even know what to do with the sign yesterday.
Well, I think Johnny would say that all it does is say he's been around.
He tried
old.
to hand it to Maggie like 3 different times in the post race. I think she gets the job done today. I've always been a fan of this filly. She's going to be the favorite. I mean, she's probably going to be the favorite. So
I agree. to put a little bit of color into what Anthony's saying about the ride last time, it was a horrifically bad ride. The winner was a bad horse that's 22 to 1. The third horse, the mediocre horse, is 30 to 1. But if you look at the other speeds, they were all horses that were taking money in the race, and they all finished, somewhere in Manitoba.
If they finished, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they got absolutely buried. So it wasn't just that she was too close to a pace that was hot. It's that pace completely fell apart. Now, sometimes you see some very fast fractions at Woodbine, but I totally agree. That was a very, very foolish ride, and she ran well. My problem with her is, Anthony, that she's dressed up otherwise. The race in the QE2, first of all, it wasn't one of the stronger QE2s they've ever run. And she was able to absolutely walk along on the front end. Her race in the Del Mar Oaks, I know that race maintains its Grade 1 status. At times, it doesn't look like the strongest of Grade 1 fields. We'll run the Lake Placid and the Lake George and Saratoga, and they're stronger races overall. They're only Grade 1s because guys ship in. I don't know. Now, listen, she did run okay at 1.25 miles here in the Belmont Oaks, finishing third in Concrete Rose and Just Wonderful. That was a very, very solid effort. She had a good trip, but it was a solid effort nonetheless. I'm not sold on how good she really is. That's my problem, even though I agree 100% that she ran super last time. I'm just not sure she's as good as the other horses.
Fair enough.
That's my concern with her.
Fair enough.
Though obviously I think she's dangerous in here. Anything else? La Signari, just quickly, I don't think she's a 1.25 mile horse. I think she's a very nice horse. But she ran really well at the 1.8 mile race here, and she just stopped in the Belmont Oaks last year, setting a fair but not particularly quick pace, given how quick that turf was. Yeah. I think she flattens. Even look at the 1 mile 3/16 race at Gulfstream. Clear shot, not enough. She just doesn't finish it up going longer. That worries me with her. Race number 9, the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
These are all winning your ends, too, by the way, for the
Cups
Breeders' Cups. That's a winning ring for the Philly and Mac turf.
How many Jockey Club Gold Cups do you think you've seen live?
Wow, live?
All the Grade 1s.
30, yeah, all the Grade 1s. 35? I'm 43.
So you haven't missed one since you were 6 years old?
No, I probably haven't. I've probably been here since I was 2, and missed a handful.
You gonna be here today for it?
I'm not. I will miss it today. I won't be happy about that. I was here for both the tonalist wins. You know that. I wasn't going to not be here for tonalist.
I don't think I've missed one since 1980. I missed one. I missed Borrego. I was in France.
I was doing my gig at Mohegan Sun for 1 year. I can't remember what year it was that I missed. 13, 14, not 13, not 14.
I think that may be the only one I've missed. We were showing a graphic, all the great winners of this race in the show.
I wasn't here for curling. Really? I was away, and I was kind of angry at that. I was away.
Be angry. I'm angry.
I liked curling.
Really?
Kenny McPeak found him.
Well, now he's got to a skydiver, too.
Yeah. Race
number 9, the Jockey Club Gold Cup. We'll start with Anthony's favorite horse, Tacitus.
There he is.
I thought Priorities actually ran pretty well in this Woodward. This is the last time anybody can say, guys, that's race number 1. We were hoping to see the video.
He could beat Let Me Have It.
Yeah, I don't like Let Me Have It in there. If we can find the Tacitus in the Woodward, that'd be great. Great job by our crack crew, who normally do an absolutely amazing job. One out of 3 months, we get one of those. Keep us on our toes. Make sure we're watching.
Gotta get his Grade 1 win
Well,
today,
I only noticed because he wasn't a gray. I was looking for the gray, and then I noticed there were a few more horses, and I thought, boy, that was a big field, the Woodward. I know that Tacitus is everybody's whipping boy, but everybody that likes to beat up on this horse is wrong.
He's
not. I'll put it this way. To be fair, he's not as good as you and I'd hoped he would be as a breeder.
I would agree with that.
He's not, but he's still a pretty darn good horse.
I'd like to. You want to talk about trainer speak? I'd like to see him at 5. I'd like to see him try to keep going next year.
He could run next year.
I'd like to see that.
We'll see. Trying his Grade 1. He's better than these horses. I think if you're trying to beat him, you're trying to improve a lot of horses. Now, to be fair, Prioritize, was sort of picking up pieces last time. But Tacitus was in a fight with Global Campaign, who's a very, very good horse. And he didn't really fail in losing. He lost to a better horse who beat him that day. You look at a lot of his races. We've talked about it ad infinitum. He's just a good horse. He found a softer spot. This is not one of our stronger Jockey Club Gold Cups, and he's supposed to be able to boss these horses around.
A couple of up-and-coming 3-year-olds, Happy Saver and Mystic Guide, inside and outside. I wonder if Happy Saver gets the Vino Rosso treatment.
We're going to get to him in a moment. Why don't we? Here, you can see the videos. So there you go. Let's take a look at Mystic Guide, who you mentioned, who we both picked second. What I like, and we'll see if this is keeping. Now they've got us on our toes here. We'll see if this is actually Mystic Guide. I like the fact that he has improved with every start. You know, every race he runs, 72 buyer, 84 buyer, 89 buyer, 90 buyer, 95 buyer. Now, Live Your Best Life, obviously he was awful in the Preakness, but Jesus' team ran fine to be third in there. He backed that race up. He would have to take another step forward to win this race.
I think it's Jesus' team.
No, it's not.
Is it really?
It's not. Yeah, it's not, actually.
It's
I meant to tell you that.
Jesus' team?
Yeah, I was told that last week.
They don't really allow that, right?
I don't care. I don't want to have a big discussion about it. I was told it's
I'm just saying.
I don't know what they allow. What do I know? I know they allowed a horse to be named Gas Station Sushi, so I know that they fall asleep on the wheel at when they let horses' names get through sometimes.
We were doing race day on HRN when he ran second to Tap It to Win in the allowance race. Yeah, I said I think this horse needs a pair of blinkers. He
took
ran
2 races to listen to you.
I'm sorry.
Took him 2 races to listen to you.
Well, no, he didn't listen to me. After Jose Ortiz got off in the Peter Pan, he said this horse needs a pair of blinkers, and he listened to Jose Ortiz.
Do you really think that's why he won last time?
I think he put it all together last time. He's going to need to continue to improve, but like you said, he's improved with every race. So you're supposed to expect some more improvement today. We'll see how he handles the 1.25 miles. We'll see how he handles the older stakes horses.
I will say that both Todd Fletcher with Happy Saver and Mike Stidham with Mystic Guide are both on a free roll, because neither one of these horses were running 1-2 in the Preakness. So they got a shot to win this race, so it's good. Here's my problem. This is Happy Saver's race at Saratoga, where he was going nowhere on the rail, which wasn't the place to be. But once he got swung out by Irad Ortiz, he just mowed down the fairly talented Beau Lumiere. Here's what I don't like about this horse. And I, as you know, I'm a big fan of this horse. I like this horse's first 2 races a great deal, and I know you agreed. I thought he took a step back in the Federico Tessio.
I do too.
I know that Monday Morning Quarterback is okay, but he was coming off a layoff, and he took a step forward, or Happy Saver may have taken a little bit of a step back, and I don't want to see them take that step back in that race. And I think that the 5, Mystic Guide, is more likely to take the step forward than Happy Saver, who I respect, and I liked his races, but I didn't love his last race.
I'm also curious if this horse gets the Vino Rosso treatment today. And when they ran Vino Rosso in this race last year, they put Vino Rosso on the lead. I'm very curious if this horse...
Bill Murray should be saying the Vino Rosso treatment. You know?
Gets this horse... if this horse gets the same treatment. I think there's a chance he does, and I'm going to tell you why. I think you'd agree with this. In the 2-turn race at Saratoga, he looked like he got a little lost on the far turn.
No, well, he also may not like being on the rail.
Okay, fair enough. And I would say that could be it. But last time, he kind of did the same thing. And I wonder now if this horse is just going to be more attentive in the bridle, on the bit, and into the race a little bit more. And if that's his, I mean,
was he supposed to do speed here? Why wouldn't they go to the front end today?
Well, off of his last 2 races, how could you imagine him on the front end?
Because he's faster than these horses early? The only way he's not in the front end is if Manny Franco rides name changer aggressively. Yeah. I don't know if Name Changer's that good anymore.
I don't disagree.
I don't know
with
if he
that.
has the speed anymore. You know, there was a time I thought he could have been the speed. I'm not sure it's now. I assumed Happy Saver would be in front here, and maybe if the track is really kind inside speed, that'll help him. I just didn't love his last race, and I think it prioritizes improving here.
His last race is the real problem.
Let me tell you what prioritize. It's a pretty good trainer. Jockey change, is it not? Getting Luis Saez? Eric's been riding well the last few days. I think he's been more aggressive.
Eric gets along with this
Eric's
horse, too.
been riding well. Well, he didn't get along. He didn't get along with this horse in a 5-horse field when he was 4-5 wide the whole way around the track. That he didn't get along with him well in that race. I think that's why he was replaced.
Okay.
To be fair.
Okay.
He was picking up pieces at the end while Tacitus was doing the dirty work. Also, to be fair.
I'm going to make a good 4-5 in this race.
Not a bad 4-5?
No, strong 4-5.
Strong 4-5. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to root for Tacitus. Single him in most of my multi-race bets.
Yeah, there you go.
Race number 10 is the Sands Point, and Anthony was the biggest lock of the entire day was that Anthony would pick Selflessly. Don't you feel as though you got the money last time with Selflessly?
You know I'm a fan of this horse. You know I thought that part of the reason I picked her with 2 starts back and the Wonder Again, I felt like it was just too bad a race to believe. And
she shouldn't have been 14 to 1 last time. I would have picked her on top. I thought she'd be that price. She should have been about 5 to 1.
She rewarded all of our faithful backers with a 14-1 gutsy win. Clearly the fastest race and best race she's ever run. I have to think, because my ego is as big as my belly, that I was right about her. You throw the Wonder Again out,
Well,
you hope she moves
It's not
forward.
much you being right about her, Anthony. You were right about her. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Miss Grillo in her second start. In the Breeders' Cup, she didn't have the best of trips. Nothing not to like about her. She just won bad race.
Threw the one, and if she takes a step forward off the last race, she's going to win.
Oh, she's the horse to beat. I don't even think it's close. I have no argument with that whatsoever. I know a lot of other people seem to like Tama here. I guess Chad Brown's been working this horse with some good horses. Mary's France, who finished 7 lengths behind her, came back in that slow-paced allowance race right at the beginning of the meet, and she did make a move in the turn for Grand Motion before flattening out. Her last race was good. I don't know. Chad Brown's numbers with these European shippers and 3-year-olds, not that strong. Not that strong. So I'm skeptical.
The first time and the first time from the country overall aren't as strong as you would think they are. Think they would be.
No, they're not.
Even the short numbers.
They're not.
They're just not.
Not 3-year-olds. The only reason the ROI is he's 6 for here. Foreign shipper in the turf, first time Lasix graded stakes. He's 6 for 34, $1.84 ROI. The only reason I didn't put it up is the phony ROI. The only reason the ROI is so good is Olympico paid $39 on a soft turf that day, an older horse. The ROI would be well under $1. The ROI would be like about 70 cents if it wasn't for that, maybe about 65 cents.
Robert Bruce got buried on a bad trip that day too. Olympico was like a very fortunate winner that day.
Oh, Robert was the lead that day.
Yeah.
Is that another? That was the day.
Yeah.
So I'm a little skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hear anything. Again, you see the bullets, and I know it's, sometimes they're smaller samples. One of those bullets is 9 other horses worth, 8 other horses worth of the distance. But
I have a bone to pick too, Anthony, with the chart caller over at
me.
La Testa Bouche. Well, he's got the horse first and second last time, and second and third 2 races back.
Wait, who?
The chart caller at La Testa Bouche. I found a new chart caller
to correct him or her.
Maybe if they're on Twitter, they can insult me like another chart caller did. How'd that work out? Speak to me of Summer winning the Lake Placid. The white flag eventually went up on that one. If you want to see the definition of a great trip, that would be Speak to me of Summer. Having said that, she'll appreciate less distance, I think.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. I think this is where she is probably maxed out, the 1 1/8, and almost agree with the fact that maybe a little shorter. The 2-mile races last year when you liked her at Aqueduct and she paid the big price, that seems to be her gig, right, where she just can sit, make the one run. She got to do it here.
1 mile should help her. I mean, her running style is perfectly suited for this course. I don't know if she's good enough. But I've got her 4th, but I don't think she can't win this race. I have to pick Miss J. McKay. We'll take a look at the Great Coronation Cup. I have absolutely no confidence this horse is going to be as good at a mile as she is going 6 furlongs, or 6.5 last time out. Having said that, 6.5 at Kentucky Downs is a grueling 6.5, and she might have been best in that race where she finished second. She certainly, in my opinion, was best this day, where She's My Type got a very good trip. I'm not sure what's going on. Had a very good trip, and she, was forced, after she didn't break that well, she ended up going back to last and circled the field, and I thought that Miss J. McKay probably ran the best race here. Now, these are good horses, and she's got to be a sprinter that shows she can do it at a mile. Having said that, I'm going to take a little bit of a chance because I thought her price would be fair enough in here. And I think she's a very, very high-quality filly, and maybe today she can get the distance. I have no confidence. I'm going to use her and Selflessly, and the other ones, they can beat me. They'll be lessers on my tickets.
Okay.
I have no confidence, trust me.
Yeah.
But I think she'll be a square enough price.
Helped by the fact that it's not a traditional, 2-turn mile here at Belmont, that it's out of the chute. It's almost like a little bit of a longer sprint. That might help our cause. I don't know.
No,
you don't
I think one-turn miles are better for closers on the Widener than they are for speed types. Race number 11, we close it out with a lot of guessing in race number 11. I guess Herald Angel is the one that you have to use on your tickets. I mean, you sort of have to use the 2 and 11 here, right?
Yep.
They want to get the 11 on the turf, despite the fact that she ran well on it. Ran the dirt last time out, testing a fast pace.
I put them 1-2. I'm going to make an Empire 6 today. I certainly am not going to have just the 2 and the 11. I'm going to try and close to 2, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. That's who I want to close to. 2, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. 6 horses.
That's 7.
2, 5,
so right away
6,
you couldn't even add them correctly. You're
2,
not giving
5,
a lot of confidence to your followers.
2, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11.
That's
there
7.
you go. Boom, 7.
7
I know.
horse. It's tough. It's tough. That's the problem. It's tough for the smaller players to be able to use 7. And when you have this many first-time starters, I understand why they want to. I would use the 7, the Promised Road. George Weaver had one heck of a good-looking 2-year-old here 2 days ago. What makes Sammy run? 87 Buyer. That horse looked like Barbaro flying down the stretch.
That was
in
something.
Race. That was something.
And at the 3/8 pole, he never really
the horse
looked
was
like anything
idling. It looked like the second horse was going to win.
And then, I mean,
Wow.
you want to talk about a tale of two cities for the first half of the race and the second half of the race.
Yeah, as Chad Brown, typical Chad Brown, horse says only dirt in his pedigree. It's a Dutrow horse. Rick Dutrow trained Angery, and it's Brody's cause. And Chad's running the 10 Amity Island on the turf, and the horse has nothing but dirt pedigree. But he wins with these kind of horses. You have to
That's an automatic toss in.
I'll tell you, who's perhaps the best pedigree horse in this race?
The best pedigree horse?
Yeah. Well, one is Adriatic Rose, who's a full of Nico's Dream.
Nico's Dream.
Who's actually was good in these 6 furlong races as a 2-year-old in the shorter races. Crease La Rote. You got Rote. Didn't Rote win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf?
Yes, he did.
And standing for $3,400 overseas. And Lady Creasa, who was 4 for 21 and won over almost $250,000 in the turf. Isn't she a half to King Creasa? Isn't that the whole Creasa family?
The mare is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's not big turf.
Yeah, sure, of course.
I know it's low-profile connections, but you want pedigree here?
Yeah.
That
From
got
the
plenty.
lakes. Shipping in from the lakes.
Well, they don't have the turf course in yet.
Are you going to make me write 12 on this thing and make it go to 8? I mean, it killed me.
Well, I mean, this is easy for you. You'll be singling Tacitus. You'll be singling selflessly.
Nobody knows I can't single selflessly. I can't
Really?
let another Chad beat me.
Really?
I can't do it.
Wow.
I can't do
Wow.
it.
You can have to single the Pletcher horse because it liked the mud.
I might single Cambia Park.
All right. It's been a pleasure. You know, I've had so much fun. I want to do this 2 more times this weekend. Can we do this 2 more times? You know, we're racing Monday on Columbus Day.
I know that.
The reason there's very limited turf, we moved the stakes, the Knickerbocker and Hill Prince, is because it's scheduled to be a bit rainy here. But good job by the racing office.
Great job.
Kevin scheduled dirt race for Monday.
Rain's supposed to come in tomorrow after we wrap the card, so we shouldn't have a problem.
Even later, yeah.
Yeah, with the Matron and the Futurity.
Much later. I think nightly.
Yeah, and then Monday looks like, but there's only 2 out of the 9.
You know what? There's only 2 races, and actually they're races that are pulled together as big fields. So the racing office did a great job of adapting.
Fantastic job, boys and ladies and gents. Fantastic job. We have any ladies down there right now? I think we do. Yeah, we do. Good job, ladies and gents.
Naira
Send
Bets.
us a Naira
If you're not a
Bets.
member of Naira Bets, head on over. NairaBets.com. We will match with $200 of your initial deposit. Use the promo code MATCH200. Support racing in New York. Play through Naira Bets. We will offer a $20 back if you bet 25 or more to win, and you win on the Frisette or the Champagne app only to participate in this for a $20 bonus in those 2 races. And also, we have a cross-country pick 5. Cross-country pick 5. That'll be Monmouth, Belmont, Keeneland, Belmont, Keeneland enter the Grade 1. Another Grade 1 in the Flower Bowl. And finally, 482,000 something. Is that $426,806 in the Empire 6 mandatory payout races 6 through 11, Anthony?
Yes. That I could count because it says right there, 6 through 11 at the bottom of the graphic. By the way, if you need help with that cross-country pick 5, you can go back and listen to a podcast of the Weekend Stakes preview presented by Naira Bets over at HRHorseRacingRadio.net. Bobby Newman and I. We didn't put a ticket together, but we give you the picks for all the 5 races.
All right.
Cambia Park's in there? Yeah. I'll single her.
It's been a great pleasure. John Embrial up next. By the way, 12 to 6 today on FS1, MSG Plus. For all the races on America's Day at the Races, here from Belmont Park, the usual cast of characters. John Embrial up next, the reprise, Scratches and Changes.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to beautiful Belmont Park on this Jockey Club Gold Cup day. Sunny skies.